Welcome to part 5 of Let's Play Revenge of the Vampire by Keith Martin. At the end of the last part, I was on paragraph 246. Let's reread this as a reminder. You leave the Golden Goose and hang about outside. Minutes later, the fat sage emerges and waddles off towards Orkhead Square. Yeah, I think it's pronounced Orkhead, not Orchid. Yeah, I think it's pronounced Orkhead. That makes more sense. Anyway, he unlocks his front door, and if you are thinking of forcing an entry, you change your mind when you see the size of the enormous bodyguard lurking in the hallway. Reason tells you you should go back to an inn to get some rest and food, but for no good reason you can think of, you stay here for a few minutes longer. Outside an upstairs window of the house, where a light inside shows that someone has just lit a lamp, a misty haze begins to form. As you peer at it, the mist takes the shape of a bizarre tendrilled creature which strikes the window with a disgusting plop. The horror simply dissolves the glass away and flaps into the room beyond. Will you climb up the wall to get to the upstairs room? Turn to 341. Hammer on the front door of the house? Turn to 37. Leave and come back tomorrow to see what has happened? Turn to 369. Decide you don't like this at all and leave Farley, heading northeastwards? Turn to 198. Or leave Farley for another area altogether? Turn to 304. Okay, we are going to climb up the wall. We're going to climb up the wall to get to the upstairs room. And turn to 341. You must test your skill. Unless you have some rope which you can throw up and loop round one of the gargoyles by the windowsill and so haul yourself up, you must add 2 to the total rolled on the dice. Each time you fail, you get part way up and only to fall, lose 1 stamina point. You can keep on trying until you succeed. When you do, turn to 191, but make a note of how many attempts you had to make. If you get bored with continual failure, you decide to hammer on the front door instead. Turn to 37. Okay, we need to test our skill. Now, do we have a rope? Let's see if we have a rope. Yeah, we have 10 yards of rope, I wrote. So, or 10 meters. Yeah. Anyway, so we have 10 yards of rope. So that means we don't have to add 2 to the total rolled. So we need to test our skill. So we need a dice roll to be less than or equal to 11. Here we go. Let's do this. Yep. Yep, and we've got a 3. That's less than or equal to 11, so we were successful. And we don't have to add 2 to that, even though it wouldn't make any difference. That would be a 5, because we've got a good roll, but we don't need it because we have the rope. Okay, does that mean the rope is used? I don't know. Okay, so we had no failed attempts, so that's quite good. And then we're turning to 191. As you haul yourself through the window of Heartwar's bedroom, the first thing you see is the fat man lying motionless on his bed. The tendrilled jelly-like thing has spread its slimy tentacles over his face, and they are suffocating him. Heartwar initially had 9 stamina points, but he will have lost 1 every time you failed when testing your skill during your climb. You must destroy the vampiric jelly before it destroys Heartwar. Vampiric jelly, skill 7, stamina 8. Let's have a look at it. It's like reminds me of 2 things. One, Alien and Aliens, obviously. Not Alien 3, because I don't like that film very much. Although it is watchable, but I just don't like it. Yeah, the undone script of Alien 3 on YouTube with the voice of Lance Henriksen is much better. And it also reminds me of Blade, the fat vampire called Pearl or something. Anyway, vampiric jelly, skill 7, stamina 8. Work out attack strengths for yourself and the monster as usual. Whenever it wins an attack round, it does not harm you, but you fail to get in an effective blow with your sword. If we attack round, whether you have the higher attack strength or not, Heartwar loses 1 stamina point. If you defeat the thing before Heartwar's stamina is reduced to 0, turn to 254. If you do not, turn to 392. Okay, so... Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Right, so Vampiric Jelly, skill 7, stamina 8. Whoops. Skill 7, stamina 8. There we go. Whoops. Okay, so we don't get hurt, but Heartwar does. I'll just put Heartwar's stamina underneath here. Heartwar's, whoops, stamina. So that is 9. So every time we lose an attack round, well, every attack round, regardless of whether we win or lose, is that costs Heartwar 1 stamina point. Yeah, so he hasn't lost any because we did it first time for the first attempt, didn't we? So that's good. Okay, let's do this. So skill 11 is mine and his is skill 7. Let's do this. Okay, 7 plus 8 is 15. I get 14. Oh, fantastic. That's a good start. Alright, so I don't lose any stamina, but Heartwar loses 1. He goes down to 8. Okay. Okay, 7 plus 7 is 14. I get 13. Unbelievable. Right. I better just put this in actually. So it was 15 to 14, and then mine was 4. His next one was 14 to no, wait a minute. Mine was 13. Was I actually got a 2? Unbelievable. 13, so that puts Heartwar down to 7. Okay, 7 plus 5 is 12. I must defeat this. Come on. 12. Mine is 18. Okay, here we go. 12 to 18. Alright, so Heartwar loses 1 again, but he loses. The jelly thing loses 2. Okay, 7 plus 8 is 15. I get 19. So 15 to 19. That puts him down to 5 and jelly down to 4. Okay, 7 plus 7 is 14. I get 22. So 14 to 22. Puts him down to 4, and then that one down to 2. 7 plus 8 is 15. I get 22. So 15 to 22. Puts him down to 3, and then Vampiric Jelly is down to 0. Good, that's the end of that. Wonderful. Okay, get rid of the buzzing if there is any. Better have my earphones in. Okay, because I'm using my laptop microphone, not a clip-on one out of the audio jack thingy-bob. Anyway, so yeah, we defeated the thing before Heartwar's stamina is reduced to 0, so turn to 254. Okay. You summon Heartwar's dim-witted bodyguard and send him to fetch a healer. After swallowing some herbal preparations, Heartwar feels much better. You have saved my life, he says rather uncertainly. He's obviously still in shock. You decide to come right out and tell him your whole story, that you are pursuing a vampire, you're meeting with Henrik, and all that has happened to you. Heartwar looks first astounded, then grim. So Henrik has been murdered, and the halls of stars destroyed, he muses. I may be the only one left. Henrik had followed Heidrich from Alanzia to the old world, you know. He knew Sueth from many years ago and begged his help in tracking down Heidrich's one weakness. In his turn, Sueth asked me to keep a watch on the mansion house Heidrich had bought here. It's a bad place. The local people have always kept well away. Many years ago, a nobleman went mad there and slew his whole family, so the place is full of ghosts, vengeful things. Everyone was very surprised when an unknown unknown count from another land bought it, but it would make an excellent cover for such an evil man. Anything untoward happening in the area would be put down to the old ghosts, not to him. I found it difficult to recruit any reliable scouts and spies in the area, frankly, and I've not been able to keep track of the Count's movements. You are disappointed by this news. Turn to 315. Together, however, the three of us did manage to piece together one of the vampire's final secrets. Three witches of Analand constructed a crystal heart. While this infernal object is still in existence, Hydric cannot be destroyed. We also learned where the Crones can be found. It's at a place named Crab Peak in the shadow of the Great Wall. It lies far to the west of here. There was something else, however. Heartwar ponders for a moment. There is a deeper secret Hydric possesses, for surely he would not allow himself to remain in the witch's power. We came to believe that he has some deeper retreat, some faraway source of power of his own. He has just used the witches to bring himself back to strength before he calls upon this power. Whatever it may be. My guess is that you will find out what it may be only by entering Mortis Mansion, as his home is called. Should you make for the witches, however, beware their strength. Together they could destroy you utterly. You should try to vanquish them one at a time, if at all possible. As for me, I think I should seek refuge where the vampire cannot send any more things after me. Harquhar now gives you some correspondence that passed between him, Sueth, and Henrik. There are 15 pages of these. Make a note of this. Okay. 15 pages of correspondence. I have 15 pages of Harquhar's correspondence. New line, there we go. And they will give you some clues about Mortis Mansion, which may come in useful later. Gain 2 blood points. Puts me up to 10. Let's use some provisions as well. Put me down to 12, and that'll put me up to 14 stamina. There we go. You consider what Harquhar has told you. You ought now to make either for the witches, turn to 57, or for Mortis Mansion itself, turn to 198. Okay, we are going to make for the witches and turn to 57. Witches, here we come. An endless plain stretches ahead of you in central Analand. The people hereabouts are friendly enough. Where's the next page? Here we are. Mostly simple farming folk, and you can find barns in which to sleep at night and the occasional bowl of soup and crust of bread. However, during this lengthy time of travel, you must eat 4 meals to supplement what you manage to beg. Subtract 4 from your provisions. That puts me down to 8 provisions. Otherwise, you will have to work for your supper now and again. Subtract 2 blood points. Okay, so it's either 4 provisions or 2 blood points, so I've chosen provisions. If you have Bloodbane, you must subtract 2 from both your initial and current stamina scores. Finally, you find yourself trudging towards the farming hamlet of Stungaster. Is that like an inside joke about Doncaster? Anyway, not that I've been to Doncaster. I haven't. Anyway, the night is growing foggy and the air is very damp. If you have lung rot, too many cigars. No, you don't inhale cigars. I'm being silly. That'd be too many cigarettes, or cigarettes in general. If you have lung rot, you must lose 2 points from your stamina. You hear a woman's voice crying out piteously. She is moaning, Murder, murder. If you want to find out what's going on, turn to 328. If you want to go straight on to Stuncaster, you soon arrive at the village inn, turn to 226. Okay, we're going to go straight into Stuncaster, and turn to 226. You must pay 1 gold piece for food and board. If you can't or won't pay, you must sleep roughly. Okay, so let's pay 1 gold piece. Oh no, my notes say we're not going to do that. So we're not going to do that. We are going to sleep rough. You must eat a meal, and if you have lung rot, you'll lose 2 stamina points for staying out on such a wet, foggy night. Okay, so -1 food. So let's remove 1 provisions. That's down to 1 set of provisions. That's down to 7. Okay. In the morning, you ask about the location of Crab Peak. The local people, looking very unhappy, tell you that the place is cursed and evil. Long ago in the past, 2 mighty wizards fought a duel to the death there. The curses, uttered with their dying breaths as they slew each other, turned the place into one of magic, evil, and treachery. No one goes there now, not even the patrols which normally guard the southern border of the Great Wall to protect the local people from Lenderland prowlers. However, they tell you that it is a day's hard walk to the northeast. Before you set off, you can, if you like, buy some provisions. 1 gold piece will buy you enough for 3 meals. 1,051. Okay, we are going to buy 6 food, 6 gold piece, 6 provisions for 2 gold pieces. Let's do that now. So that puts me down to 1 gold piece, but puts me up to 13 provisions again. Wonderful. Okay, turn to 151. It is getting dark as you approach the brooding granite mass of Crab Peak, an extraordinary isolated outcrop of rock with almost sheer sides. The peak of the crag is broken into 2 distinct and claw-like formations, which do indeed resemble the pincers of a crab. It strikes you that the land here is very barren, unlike Analand's normal fertile uplands. Uh, Grass and vegetation are stunted and rank. Fragmented boulders, some of great size, are scattered around on the peak. It looks as if the wizard's duel shattered them and scattered them all over this desolate upland. By great good fortune, as you approach the cover of these scattered rocks, you spot 2 crones in tattered black cloaks, standing arguing and screaming at each other in the distance. Between them is the stone statue of a third hag, and the 2 gesture at it and keep on screaming at each other. You think you can see the entrance to a cave in the craggy outcrop behind them. They are speaking in a strange tongue that you don't understand. Will you attack the crones? Turn to 267. Go up and speak with the crones? Turn to 344. Wait behind cover and wait to see what happens? Turn to 245. Okay, there they are. Okay. Oh, go on then. Hubba hubba. That seems to be my catchphrase these days. Okay. We are going to go up and speak with the crones. Turn to 344. As you approach, the witches break off their argument and gaze at you suspiciously. They both draw daggers dripping with venom from the folds in their cloaks. What are you going to say for yourself? Will you ask about the statue? Turn to 115. Ask about a magical item of some kind? Turn to 383. Ask if you can help them in some way? Turn to 43. Or try some other strategy? Turn to 72. Okay, what are we going to do? We are going to ask if we can help them in some way, and turn to 43. Hope I don't need that page. I think I said that already, didn't I? I don't like that darkness. It's like sort of, reminds me of In the Mouth of Madness, Lovecraftian sort of horror, sort of when Sutter Kane opens up himself like a book and like a page and rips himself, and inside is blackness. I don't like that at all. It's quite disconcerting, sort of like horrible. Anyway, the taller and uglier of the crones, Shivala, takes you to one side, away from the hatred-filled gaze of the other crone, and whispers to you. My sister has been turned to stone, she snarls. She, pointing to Corolla, led her to the Basilisk's lair. It's her fault I cannot return Zalvanar to life. That can only be done by slaying the Basilisk. Do that for me and bring me its head. Then I can craft an enchantment to bring my sister back. Do this for me, and then together we will slay Carola. You can have the treasure she has in her cave. If you are ready to agree to Shivala's plan, turn to 4. If you are not, you can talk to Corolla, turn to 195, or try some other strategy, turn to 72. Okay. We are going to agree to Shivala's plan and turn to 4. Shivala leads you to what looks like a large pothole close to 2 large rocks. You light your lantern and make your way downwards. Looking back, you see Corolla striding off angrily towards a cave entrance in the side of Crab Peak, but you have no time to worry about her now. You enter a maze of passageways, stopping from time to time to listen for any sound of the monster you seek. You come across 2 skeletons in a side cave, and you can make out the gleam of metal among the bones. If you want to investigate this, turn to 63. If you prefer to press on, turn to 177. Okay, we're going to investigate it and turn to 63. Among the bodies, you find 4 gold pieces and a flask of oil. Okay, we're going to take gold, so 4 gold pieces. That puts me up to 5. And we have a flask of oil. The rusted chainmail armour the bodies once wore is useless now, as are the brittle and rust-flecked metal helmets of the long-dead knights. But you also find a curious key which looks as if it had been made out of bone and then sprayed with molten silver. Take the skeleton key and make a note of the fact that it has 13 notches cut along its length. Okay, so we have skeleton key with 13 notches. Seems to be a bit Ian Livingstonian with the numbers. Anyway, then you hear something heavy moving immediately behind you. And before you can stop yourself, you turn around and find yourself looking a huge basilisk right in the eye. Test your luck. If you're lucky, you will be turned to stone and your adventure ends here. If you're lucky, turn to 177. Oh, great. Right, what is my luck? 11. So I need this dice roll to be 11 or lower, otherwise it's game over. And it is. Well, lucky for you, it's not game over, but you know I would have done it again. You know that. You know what I'm like. Anyway, so put me down to 10 luck points. I always used to like to think of it when I was little as, sort of like, imagine if I redid the book exactly again, using every page turn with exactly the same dice rolls, which is a theoretical possibility, and it led me exactly back to this point where I'm redoing my luck. So therefore, I've just sort of gone back in time, sort of thing, or no, gone forward in time. There we go. So, if you understand my thoughts on time travel, then that will make sense to you. Otherwise, I'm talking complete nonsense. Anyway, we were lucky, and we're turning to 177. Now, the basilisk is upon you. The lizard's length is twice your height, and it has powerful clawed forefeet and vicious fangs. If you have a silver mirror, you can look away from the basilisk and fight looking at its reflection. You must subtract 2 from your attack strength, but in every attack round you may roll 1 die. If you roll 1 or 6, the basilisk stares into the mirror and is turned to stone. If you do not have a silver mirror, you must fight looking away from the basilisk to avoid its deadly petrifying gaze and hack wildly and hope. Subtract 2 from your attack strength. The only good point is that while this creature is much larger and tougher than most of its kind, it does not breathe poison, as so many do. Huge Basilisk, skill 8, skill 10. If you win, gain 1 luck point. Few people fight such monsters and survive. You cut off the head of the brute and ascend once more to the surface. Turn to 133. Okay, there's the Basilisk. I'm petrified right now. Oh no, I'm slowly turning to stone. And I'm dead. Right, there we go. So that was fun, wasn't it? It does look pretty evil and horrifying, though. Anyway, what am I doing? Okay, do we have a silver mirror? That's what I'm trying to find out. Let's just do a search for silver. That will cut because I can't read my thing. No, cannot find silver. So we do not have a silver mirror. That means we'll have to do the old subtract 2 from my attack strength. Okay, 8, 10, huge Basilisk. Not entirely sure what a Basilisk is, to be honest, but apparently it's a lizard. I learn something new every day, as they say, or as I could say. Okay, huge Basilisk. Skill 8, stamina 10. Now I have to subtract 2 from the stamina, don't I? No, from my attack strength, that's right. Off we go. So 8 plus 8 is 16. I get 19, which goes down to 17. So 16 to 17, and that means I win. Puts them down to 8, right, because I subtracted 2. 8 plus 6 is 14. I get 13 and 11. So 14 to 11, but I would have lost anyway. 14 to 11. So we have to subtract 2 from my stamina. Oh, I should have. Oh, never mind. It's my last encounter sheet entry thing. Anyway, I'll have to make some more. Ooh, excuse me. All right. Long day. What am I doing? Oh yeah, 8 plus 7 is 15. I get 16, 14 because I have to subtract 2. So 15 to 14. So it'll be down to 10 stamina. Okay, 8 plus. Oh, great. 18. And I get 17. So 18 to 17. Fantastic. Alright, that puts me down to 8 stamina. Okay, 8 plus 11 is 19. I get 16. So 19 to 16. This is becoming bothersome. So we're down to 6. Oh, wait a minute. I'm missing something here, aren't I? Wait a minute. There's something that I can use. I have a magic sword, which is... No, that only works for ghouls. I have a magic sword which is +1 attack strength, right? So I'll have to redo this now. I have to look back and see what I've missed because I do have a magic sword. Right, let's have a look at the encounters and see if I... Okay, well that one... Okay, well I have to add 1 to everyone, don't I? In fact, I should have done it for this one as well, but it doesn't really matter. But it's done now. That's the trouble. I always forget these things. That should be 12. So this one should be 15. That one should be 18. And that one should be 17. So I actually win back 4 stamina points. So it should be back to 10 now because I've only lost. I haven't lost that many stamina points. Yeah, because I have +1 attack strength with the magic sword that I have. So yeah, get out of that one. So I only lose 1 attack strength from attack strength. Anyway, I only lose 1 attack strength from attack strength. Blimey. I have a way with words, don't I? Right. Okay, 8 plus 10 is 18. I get 15. Yeah. So 18 to 15. That helped, didn't it? 18 to 15. I used to gain the stamina back, I suppose. Alright, puts me down to 8 then. 8 plus... Please stop doing that, Mr. Dice. 18, and I get 19. Good, because the attach rate. Yeah, 18 to 19. I just win that. 18 to 19. That puts him down to 6. 8 plus 4 is 12. I get 16. 12 to 16. Eight plus 9 is 17. I get 16. 17 to 16. That puts me down to 6 again, or properly 6 this time. Not the bogus 6 like before. 8 plus 8 is 16. I get 20. So 16 to 20. Puts them down to 2. Okay, 8 plus, thank you, 4 is 12. I get 16. 12 to 16. That's the end of Mr. Huge Basilisk, whatever it is. 12 to 16. Lizard that turns me to stone. Or turns 1 to stone. Alright, die. Alright, okay, that's the end of that. Thank goodness I remembered about that attack strength thing. Otherwise, I probably. No, I'd only be down. I'd be down to 2 stamina now if I hadn't remembered that extra attack strength point, because I was on 6 and then it took another 4 away, so that would have been on 2. Alright, let's do some provisions, I think. Let's put him down to 12 and put him back up to 10. Okay, that's the end of that. And ascend once more to the surface, 133. Okay, last paragraph and I'm ending the video. Holding the basilisk's head as your prize, you take it to the waiting Shivala. She cackles with glee, dumps the horrible relic in a cauldron, and sets about an enchantment. You remind her that she agreed to help you kill Corolla and take her treasure, but the vile witch simply spits in your face and tells you to do your worst. If you want to attack Shivala, turn to 201. If you decide to go and deal with Corolla herself, turn to 277. If you want to retreat from the area but keep a watch on it, turn to 245. Okay, we will decide what to do in the next part. Thank you for watching. I was on paragraph 133. Where am I? Paragraph 133. Okay, so it's a long old book, this, isn't it? Anyway, so thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next part. Goodbye.